Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Captain Ranger Rex, and today we're going to be reacting to the top 10 most elite special forces in the world. I'm a member of the U.S. Naval Reserve, and I learned a lot about special forces in my time in the reserve, and soon I'll be going active duty in about a year. But throughout this time, I've been educated a lot on what they do, what kind of operations they get involved in, and they get involved in some pretty crazy stuff. And so with that kind of stuff on my mind, I figured why not make a video on reacting to one of these videos, the top 10 most elite special forces in the world, see if US comes in any high numbers or whatever. So let's get right into it.
Elite special forces are some of the best trained and most formidable units a country can boast.
Amen to that.
Whether emerging from the water to silently take out guards, or storming a plane to rescue the hostages and eliminate the hostage takers,
is that GIGN?
special forces take on some of the
GIGN.
hardest missions and live some of the most secret lives in the military world. These troops are the ones that states look to in order to get the job done.
Yep.
Let's
that
get
is
started.
a weird way to hold an MP5. Wait, I want to go back.
In order
Okay, I mean, whatever works for you, bro. But personally, that's a weird way to hold an MP5.
to get the job done. Let's get started.
All right.
Black Storks, Pakistan. The Special Service Group, SSG, is better known in the country as the Black Storks because of the commando's unique headgear. Their training reportedly includes a 36-mile march in 12 hours and a 5-mile run in 50 minutes in full gear. Only about 5% of recruits make it through to the Pakistan SSG due to the tough nature of this 9-month training course, which also includes extensive hand-to-hand combat and an airborne school. The Black Storks are trained for a variety of environments, including mountain, desert, jungle, and underwater. During the early Cold War, they trained and served alongside U.S. Special Forces, and more recently, the Storks have focused on local anti-terrorist operations, counterinsurgency, and intelligence collection. In October 2009, the commando stormed an office building and rescued 39 people taken hostage by suspected Taliban militants after an attack at an office building and rescued an intelligence collection.
Hold on.
In October 2009, the commando stormed an office building and rescued 39 people taken hostage by suspected Taliban militants after an attack on the Army's headquarters. JTF-2, Canada.
Whoa, wait. JTF's that low on the list? Dang, I wouldn't have figured that, but holy cow.
JFT2 stands for Joint Task Force 2, and it's the jewel in the crown of Canada's Special Forces. They deployed to Vancouver in 2010, ready to intervene if terrorists took aim at the Winter Olympics.
Oh
this
yeah, I
group
remember
is trained
that. I remember
to
seeing a bunch of stuff about that back then.
Radiological, and nuclear threats against the worst-case scenario, when a terror strike proves more than...
Yeah, I know. We have EOD for that. I know EOD is actually in the Navy. The EOD little branch is actually considered to be spec war, because they do the same sort of training as like SEALs do and stuff like that. But I mean, they got to go to way more schooling. Their pipeline is way longer than a SEALs is, because I mean, they got to go to school. They got to go to nuke school to learn how to defuse nukes if necessary. They got to go to bomb school to learn how to defuse IEDs, that kind of stuff. But they get the same kind of combat training as SEALs do. So that's pretty cool.
Local police forces can handle. It's a unit that can be deployed against a wide spectrum of issues or crises, and it can be very low signature. Created in 1993, JTF-2 expanded to several hundred members following the 9/11 terrorist attacks.
Yeah, I mean,
it has the most confirmed
that.
kills of terrorists in the world, having killed over 100 top-ranked Al-Qaeda members.
Dang.
Almost all of its operations are shrouded in secrecy, and in some cases were even unknown to the Canadian government.
Yeah, I mean,
Alpha
I
Group,
can figure that.
Russia. Now, what about Spetsnaz? Well, to keep it simple, Spetsnaz is a general term for all Russian special forces. Within the Russian special forces, Alpha Group is as bad as they come. The KGB created this elite group in 1974, and it is believed that it operates under the directive of the top leadership in Russia, which is why most of its operations are classified. This force came to fame during the invasion of Afghanistan, during which members of Alpha stormed the presidential palace in Kabul, killing everybody in the building in the blink of an eye. In 1985, a group from this unit was dispatched to Beirut to try and rescue 4 Soviet diplomats. When the diplomats were killed, Alpha Group allegedly hunted down relatives of the hostage takers and returned them to their families in much smaller pieces.
Yeah, Russia They do not mess around. They do not mess around. They are not to be underestimated at all. Yeah, honestly, like there's some kick-ass special forces groups around the world. I would love to do some more research on Russian Spetsnaz and what kind of operations they do.
To send a message to would-be terrorists. It apparently worked for over 20 years.
Dang.
Seyre Makol, Israel. This
Israel.
Israeli special forces is focused in intelligence gathering, and it often operates deep behind enemy lines.
Cool.
In 2003, Israeli taxi driver Ilyahu Giro was kidnapped after transporting 4 Palestinians to Jerusalem in his cab. But the Seyre Makol unit located and rescued him from a 3-foot pit in an abandoned factory in a suburb of Ramallah. The most famous of their large-scale operations is Operation Thunderbolt, which came to be after several terrorists had taken hostages on board of an airline which was flown to Uganda. Many hostages were released, but over 100 hostages were kept in the airport terminal building. An assault force of Seyre Makol assaulted the position, killing the terrorists and freeing all of the hostages.
Dang. Yeah, I've been to Israel. I had a great time there. It was an amazing trip. I mean, obviously it wasn't this like last summer, but like a couple of years ago. And wow, I mean, I had an amazing time. I learned a lot about the stuff that like the geopolitical nature of like stuff that was going on in Israel and Palestine. I mean, I went to the Gaza Strip, which was actually a pretty crazy visit. But I mean, it was a great time. I had an amazing time. I learned a lot, and I would love to go back. Honestly, I would absolutely love to go back.
GIGN, France.
Whew.
France's elite counterterrorism.
Wait, what are they?
GIGN.
GIGN is 6. Wow. And they're pretty good.
France's elite counterterrorism teams are some of the finest in the world and have proven their abilities and bravery over decades of dangerous operations. But unlike many anti-terrorist units, GIGN is also used in arrest of dangerous criminals, countering barricade suspects,
they're also more
foiling
of a
prison
police
riots,
force as well.
VIP protection, and other high-risk police operations within France or former colonies. Since its founding, the GIGN has seen consistent action. Its members are considered absolute masters of hostage rescue and intervention, especially in high-density environments like buses, ships, trains, and airlines. Their faces are not allowed to be photographed fully exposed. Therefore, they're often seen wearing tactical ski masks when operating in public. GIGN is known for innovation in technology applications and tactical methods. Their most famous operation is their assault on Flight 8969, which was an Air France flight that was hijacked on December 24th, 1994, by the armed Islamic group in Algeria, where the terrorists murdered 3 passengers with the intention to blow up the plane over the Eiffel Tower in Paris.
They stopped it.
When the aircraft reached Marseille, the GIGN stormed the plane and killed all 4 hijackers. The bravery of its members comes from their extreme training course. In fact, the training is so extreme that the GIGN has lost more men during training than during their 1,000+ operations.
Oh God, that's the ultimate trust fall test. Jesus
GSG-9,
Christ.
Germany. The GSG-9 was formed after the failure of the German police to rescue 11 athletes kidnapped by a group of terrorists during the Munich Olympics, where all the athletes, 5 of the terrorists, and 1 police officer were killed during the rescue attempt. In their first major mission, they took a group of 4 terrorists who had hijacked a Lufthansa flight in Somalia. 3 of the terrorists were killed, and the 4th captured during the rescue, but none of the 86 hostages were killed. Between 1972 and 2003, the GSG-9 had successfully completed over 1,500 missions, and yet only discharged a weapon 5 times, 2 of which were to shoot the attacking dogs of people they were trying to arrest. An estimated 300 to 400 people now work within the GSG-9. The exact figure is not known. Its work today concentrates on counterterrorism, hostage situations, and disarming bombs.
Yeah, I can imagine.
JW GROM, Poland.
Oh yes, I've learned a lot about GROM. They're badass. They work alongside SEALs quite a bit, I've heard, and they're pretty badass. They're like on their level, as in, like in terms of tactical proficiency. They're really good.
GROM is the leader in Poland's anti-terrorism efforts. It was named after the Silent Unseen, which was Poland's elite World War II Special Operations Unit. The GROM began its operations in 1990, and it mostly deployed in unconventional warfare roles as they have special training in operational maneuvering response. Since the terrorist attacks of 2001, the GROM has been deployed alongside U.S. Special Operation Forces in Iraq, Afghanistan, and elsewhere.
Nice.
During this time, they have developed a close working relationship with the U.S. Navy SEALs and have a well-earned reputation of being one of the fiercest and most competent special forces on the planet. Their training includes a variety of disciplines. All of the soldiers undergo the same specialized training in anti-terrorism and special operations, as well as frogman, sniping, and parachuting.
Dang.
In 4-man teams, each soldier must be prepared to assume the respective responsibilities of his colleagues.
Why are
should it
you
become necessary.
downrange?
Approximately 75% of ground
That I mean, I guess they're I know they're highly trained, but why would you put a man downrange while there are others shooting down that range? That is so dangerous. I mean, I know they're elite, they're the best of the best, but Jesus Christ, I would not want to do that.
Personnel are trained as medics or paramedics and can speak multiple languages. In addition, each group is supported by several professional physicians.
Nice.
Navy SEAL Team 6.
Oh,
USA.
dang. DevGuru is at 3? Holy cow, I'd like to see who's at 1 now.
You knew these guys were going to have to show up sometime, didn't you?
Yeah.
The SEALs are an American Special Forces group created in 1962, which have achieved near mythical status. This is in part thanks to Operation Neptune Spear, the mission in which SEALs killed Osama bin Laden, the leader of Al-Qaeda in 2011. One interesting fact about this mission is that the aircrafts used in the raid were from Area 51.
And they're classified.
Specially modified helicopters carried...
Those helicopters are still classified. They have not been... Photos have still not yet been released to the public. And I'm wondering when they're going to be released. Because I'd really like to see what those helicopters looked like.
Red Squadron of SEAL Team 6 to Pakistan for the raid on Osama bin Laden's compound. The Black Hawks were fitted with top-secret radar spoofing technology, allowing U.S. forces to slip across the border unnoticed. These stealth aircrafts were developed and tested at the infamous Area 51, near GROM Lake, Nevada.
Yep.
SEALs will usually penetrate behind enemy lines and finish their mission before the enemy realizes that they're there. One quality that makes them so effective on land, air, or even at sea. In fact, the word SEAL stands for sea, air, and land,
Yep.
meaning that these soldiers can fight any form of threat, anywhere. The physical and mental...
Yeah, so I'm in like an officer training course right now, and I've known a couple guys who are trying to go SEALs, and it's tough. It's really tough, especially if you're trying to go be an officer and be a SEAL. Like, I know it's insanely tough to do that, because before they're even considered for buds, or before they're even considered to be let in training, they have to do some really intense training. They basically have to like wear themselves to exhaustion for like an entire day or 2 days, or I forget the exact number, and then immediately after they have to go in for an interview with like one of the SEAL guys that are actually looking for recruits. It's tough, but I mean, from what I've heard, those who are training to be officers and are let into SEAL training, I think about like 80% of those guys make it through training. I mean, they're the best of the best, but they're the best of the best for a reason. They're hard. They're really hard dudes.
Mental strength required to make it in this force is ridiculously high.
Yeah.
Training takes over a year, and most applicants can't even get past the physical qualification test, which involves a lot of swimming, push-ups, sit-ups, and running. All accomplished.
I think push-ups you have to max out. Push-ups in the Navy max out on push-ups is 87 push-ups. You have to max out your plank, and the max out on plank is, I think, 3 minutes 35 seconds. And then you have to max out your run, which is like a 1.5 mile run, and you have to run, I think, in like maybe 9 minutes or so, 9 minutes or less, to be able to participate in buds in training, and I think you have to be able to do at least 8 pull-ups, and then you have to swim 500 meters. It's a tough regimen, but I mean, hey, you if you want to be the best of the best, you gotta work for it.
In a very strict time limit. Get past that, and you enter general training. Past that, and you move on to SEAL qualification training, which then opens the door to specialized training. All of this ensures the SEAL members are physically and mentally as tough as nails and capable of undertaking the most difficult operations in the world, wherever that may be.
Yep.
SAS, UK.
Holy cow, SAS is 2? I would have figured that SAS was 1. I honestly thought SAS would be number 1. There.
No
Okay,
other elite
let's see.
special force in Europe can claim to be better than the SAS.
Mm-hmm.
The British Special Air Service, known commonly as the SAS, was created in 1941 as a force which could operate behind German and Italian lines and support resistance movements against the occupation forces.
If you didn't know, SAS basically invented special forces. They're kick-ass. Their training regiment is brutal. I would love to see these guys in action, but I mean, it's crazy to even be able to get involved in something like SAS.
The training that a recruit has to go through in order to become part of the SAS is extremely difficult, since in addition to the 40-mile march, the 2-mile swim, and the push-ups and pull-ups, you have to survive in the jungle to learn survival and navigational skills, after which you endure survival practice. The final test is a 36-hour interrogation session meant to break the candidate's will.
Oof.
Not convinced this is better than the SEALs? It may help you to know that the SAS is also trained by MI5 and MI6 security and intelligence services to undertake counter-espionage operations. It's like having a SEAL and James Bond all rolled into one.
Exactly.
Their insignia bears the phrase, "Who dares wins."
Who dares wins, baby.
Number 1, Delta Force US.
I figured. Oh man, now that I see it, yeah, I figured Delta. Of course, it's Delta.
Delta Force is a unit unto itself, composed of members from all branches of the military. The force is armed with cutting-edge weaponry, and its operations remain highly guarded secrets.
Yeah, they get the best gear, the best equipment, and like even experimental equipment. I mean, I would love to get my hands on some of the equipment that they got.
But you can bet they're in the vanguard of any American-led operation. Its members are not called soldiers, but operators, and are said to shun the traditional philosophies of military life. They wear civilian clothes and they work for whomever needs them, for the Army, the FBI, and the CIA. It must be said, however, that neither the United States government nor the military officially acknowledges the existence of Delta Force. It's only in recent years that vague references by the government to the group's existence has been allowed to go uncensored. Since its inception in 1977, stories of the Delta Force's exploits and missions have leaked out little by little, eventually forming a brief sketch of the unit. However, the group has been criticized for undertaking missions that are on the fringe of regular laws governing the military. This causes some to worry that Delta Force has more power and less accountability than any military organization in a free democracy should. Delta Force is funded out of secret government accounts, away from the public eye, and is believed to answer only to the president, making it one of the most, if not the most, elite special unit in the world. Why one of the most when we ranked it as number 1, you might ask? Well, after all, the most elite special forces are the ones that are so secretive that no one knows about their existence.
That's cool.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe to stay up to date.
Yeah, I absolutely love that video. That was incredible. Well, that was a very interesting video. I'm really happy I watched that. I think, like, I was actually surprised that SEALs were 3 and SAS was 2. I figured SAS would be number 1 and SEALs would be number 2. But then obviously I forgot about Delta. But yeah, not much is really known about Delta, and I guess that's what really makes them really brings out a lot of curiosity among people to learn about them. But yeah, it was also really interesting to learn about all those other special forces around the world, like GIGN, German GSG, and like Israeli special forces, Pakistan. It was really interesting to learn about all these different special forces communities from around the world. And I honestly, like, I wanted to know more about them. I want to learn more about these units. So if y'all have any videos or anything like that explaining the history behind some of these units, send them to me, and I'll be more than happy to react to them. So thank you all very much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and hey, watch out for those wrist rockets.